Hello and welcome to the Socially Ambitious Podcast. I'm your co-host Liv.
I'm your co-host Jess.
And I'm your co-host Anna.
On this show, we'll be delving into all things social media, delegation, and influencer marketing.
Join us for insightful conversations on mastering work-life balance, pursuing your passions, and crafting the life you've always dreamed of.
Get ready for actionable tips and empowering discussions.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Socially Ambitious Podcast. I am your co-host, Jess, and today I have an amazing episode with one of our amazing Socially Ambitious graduates. And this is a really, really cool episode because we just talk everything like leaving the corporate world. She was in financial tech and has completely transitioned into being a full-time influencer's assistant and works for 5 different influencers. So if you have ever wondered what like the inside of someone's life looks like, who is an influencer assistant who does this full time, honestly, this is the perfect episode. And if you are a aspiring student or you are a student or you are a graduate, you definitely want to tune into this because she gives such amazing insight. Like even notes that I wrote down that like I want to like add in the course or add in the Facebook group and give you guys a heads up about. So honestly, really love this episode, and I hope you guys do too. Also, if you guys are interested in the SoAm course and you haven't yet taken the leap, we are running a special little sale, and I've got the okay from the girlies to share a very special discount code, and that discount code is the code Summer Sale, all one word, and you would get $222 off. So we never run discounts or sales like this, so 10 out of 10 recommend. Run, don't walk. You guys heard me. And I hope you guys love this episode. And I missed you guys. It's been a while since I did an episode. And I hope you guys missed the sound of my voice because I definitely missed talking into this microphone to no one on the other end. So live, laugh, love. Hope you guys enjoy. All right, guys, we are live with our beautiful socially ambitious graduate, Joecel, on the other side here. Hi, Joecel. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me on. I'm super excited.
No, I'm so excited. You are definitely one of like I think you were one of even like our first students. I feel like you were kind of in one of our first waves. And so I've been seeing your name for so long. It's so nice to finally put a name to the face to the name, actually. But yeah, I'd love to talk to you all things socially ambitious and just how you kind of got started in this and what kind of, inspired you to get into the influencer assistant industry.
Yeah, definitely first wave. I'm thinking like February 2023, which I think is when you guys launched.
Yeah, that's like literally first.
I just remember I came across you guys. I'm pretty sure it was TikTok. And this was before the course was even out. You guys were hinting towards it. And at the time, I was working a full 9 to 5 ops job. I've been working in the tech startup space for like the past decade. And I just had this feeling. I was like, I need out. I need something different. I need something new. And I've always been amazed by the like social media space, but I never really wanted to be the face. I'm an operations gal. I love like the behind the scenes aspect of it. So when you guys started talking about influencer assisting, which by the way, I've never heard of before until you guys, I was like, wait, this kind of sounds like something I would one be good at and something that I'd be interested in. So you guys dropped the course, completed it immediately. And yeah, I think last year I was still like kind of balancing a full-time job and I didn't really dive deep into it right away. I didn't get my first client until November, but once I got my first client and started working with her, I was like, okay, yeah, this is something that I want to do. And then 2024, I said, I'm going to make this my full-time job in 2024. And I actually quit my full-time job last month. So this is all very recent. And yeah,
So exciting.
I know, I'm very thankful. I thought it was going to take me like until the end of the year, but I just have been focused on the incoming leads in your guys's private Facebook group, which by the way, hot little resource there. There's so many resources that come into there. And I've gotten enough clients to now sustain a full-time job and transition out of the tech startup space, which I'm super happy about. So
Yay, that is so
that's where we are.
exciting. And congratulations on making that transition. That is a really, really, really scary transition, but I love that you've been able to do that. And I love that a lot of your leads have come from the Facebook group. Have all of them come from the Facebook group?
Yes.
Wow. Girl, you're just like in there, like swooping them up. I love that.
Oh yeah. And I think that's one thing I love about doing this is that I get to really choose what type of content creators and
Yeah.
influencers I want to work with on, and they're doing things that I'm actually interested in. And that
Hmm.
was the one thing about my previous job is that I was good at what I was doing, but I wasn't really enjoying what I was doing. I was working at a financial tech company. So it was like,
Yeah.
cool money, but working with these influencers, going through the forum, I'm kind of looking at, okay, can I fit within their needs of what they're looking for? But also, do I genuinely enjoy their platform and what
Mhm.
they're doing? So that's been probably like the best part of this whole thing.
Yeah, and like if I was like on the other side of it, I feel like that would be my favorite part as well because you like get to, like you get the opportunity to work with like your dream influencer. You know what I mean? Like and like Anna's vegan, right? So like if someone were to come into the Facebook group that was really passionate about being vegan and like animal rights and things of that nature, like they could work with an influencer that's like so perfectly aligned with them. And I think that that's like so cool because you don't have to like compromise the things that you like believe in for the people that you're working for because we get so many different ranges of influence. And I'm sure because you work for how many influencers right now?
5.
Five. That's insane, first of all. Like I love the hustle. Absolutely love that for you. But as I'm sure you know, because the Facebook group, we get so many insanely different types of influencers
Yeah.
from like micro influencers that like need help with their like businesses or like other things to like people who have like 40 million followers. And I'm like, how'd you even find us? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So it's really cool. And I love that that's an aspect that you love as well. What do you feel like has been your favorite part about becoming an influencer's assistant? Like the job itself.
Yeah, there's a lot. I'll try to narrow it down. One, even though it's influencer assisting, when I kind of made this jump into a new career, I'm seeing it as, well, I'm running, in a sense, my own business because I have these own clients that I'm working with.
Yes,
And I
ma'am.
love having the autonomy of how I take on those tasks. And I also love the direct impact I have. Usually these influencers, it's just a one-to-one. It's like you and the influencer.
Yeah.
And it's super rewarding to know that everything that I'm doing directly impacts their growth and essentially their business as well. And I love that they give me the trust on, look, looks like you have experience. These are the things I need help on. And of course, they'll give like kind of guiding points of like what their ultimate goals are. But then they kind of give me autonomy of like, I'm going to trust you on your expertise on how you think we should complete this. And that's super rewarding, especially when I am proposing new processes or new suggestions, new
Mhm.
video ideas, and just seeing how happy they are with the results makes me super happy. Another thing is, so 5 influencers, 2 of them are actually, I guess, one umbrella because they're 2 girls that run a podcast. But so
So
4,
essentially me and Olivia.
yeah, but not you guys,
Yeah.
sadly. So kind of like 4 different umbrellas. Each and every one requires something completely different. One girl is just needing all emails, back end, make sure you're tracking all the campaigns, etc. I have another set of content creators where it's like everything, brand outreach, video editing, thinking of ideas. And then one that needs help more on the creative side of she's responsible of posting and her emails and brand outreach, but she just needs ideas to just pump out content on a weekly basis. So I love that it's so different. And I've been learning new things every single day because the work is just so diverse. So I think those are some of my few favorite things.
I love that. And do you feel like you have a strong suit when it comes to the skill set?
Ooh, I think it's brand outreach because I'm the kind of girl where if you give me a number of brands or the amount that you want to make in a month, I'm gonna figure out how to get there. So that's probably
So I need to be calling you, is what you're saying.
Possibly. So definitely that. Something that's a lot newer to me, but I'm really enjoying learning is video editing. I would edit videos, kind of just like on my own, like with friends and family, with just personal content that I have. But I'm finding with this role, I'm really trying to challenge myself on being more creative than just putting clips together,
Mhm.
especially with the space of, social media, it being super saturated, thinking of good hooks or thinking of how you could be a little bit more creative on putting this clip together than just kind of putting them together. So I've been really challenging myself to kind of tap into the creative side, which I haven't in a while, especially working at my last job. So that's hopefully something that I could get a bit more stronger at.
I love that. Another one of my favorite things about like the job is that you can also like do these skills that like you only want to do, right? So like, we teach the video editing, we also teach brand outreach, but like let's say that you only wanted to do video editing. You could like only reach out to influencers and be like, "Hey, I'm down to edit all of your videos and give you ideas and like do like the TikTok side of it." Or if you only want to do brand outreach because you feel like that's your strong suit, you can do that. And I love that for you.
Yeah, and that's a great thing about the Facebook group too, especially I think you guys are doing a great job on kind of just giving a snapshot of what they're looking for in terms of hours, is it in person, hybrid, remote, and then exactly what they're looking for. Because there are a few that I'm like, okay, this maybe not be the best fit. And then there's others where I'm like, wait, I can do exactly this. The
Mhm.
hours are set as well, especially handling multiple clients. I have to be really aware of my time management and how many hours I'm committing to influencers. So
Yeah.
that's super helpful as well.
Good. I love that. How do you manage all of them? And like, what does your time management look like?
Yeah, so the influencers, as you know, they give kind of like a weekly set of hours that they're looking to have you work for them for. So I have that set on a weekly basis. And right now, I do have it maxed out to 40 hours a week. So it's like a full-time job. And so what I do is I have these weekly kind of quotas or hours I need to work on a daily and a weekly basis. I use this platform called trackingtime.com. And so this is what I use to kind of pull reports so that I can get paid by my influencers. But yeah, I live by my calendar and I kind of dedicate, okay, 1 hour for this influencer for video editing, 1 hour for this influencer for doing brand outreach. And as long as I stick to those time blocks, then we're good. Of course, there's a little bit of flexibility in there in case something happens. But yeah, I pretty much block out my entire week and kind of like put things in certain positions, whether it's, a content creator needs a video submitted by this date or someone has to complete a campaign by this date. So I kind of take a look here and kind of like move the pieces around. But yeah, just live by the calendar and time blocking is so, so important.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. And is there anywhere that you kind of track all of like your to-dos? Like, do you have a sort of to-do list or,
Yeah.
anywhere you do that?
I love Notion. I use
Okay.
Notion for
Yeah.
everything, for
Yeah.
my personal traveling, for to-dos. And so I basically have a Notion page set up where I have kind of all my to-dos for each of my influencers,
Mhm.
but then I can filter it out by just each influencer. They essentially have a page. And within that page, because each one requires something different, I make sure I put my daily, weekly, and monthly task in there. So I make sure I'm not missing anything, hitting the mark on everything. And whenever I transition to a new client, then I would just kind of like look at their Notion page that I have set up. And then I just put all my to-dos in there, my calendar is in there, all the resources for what they need, their brand kits, their templates, literally everything is in Notion. So that way I just have one landing page for them whenever I have to complete a task for them.
Yeah. Love Notion. We personally use Trello, and I think it's pretty similar. So I love that. I am curious how, given that you've been hired by five different influencers, and I'm sure it's pretty competitive in the Facebook group. I do think that there's quite a few
Mhm.
people, reaching out. How do you feel like you stand out and like, secure your kind of like identity with these interviews?
Yeah, I will say getting that first one was really tough. Like I said, I
Yeah.
completed the course February and there weren't that many students that have graduated yet. So I thought, okay, great. Like I'll be able to get, influencers to look at my resume and like get more eyes on it. but I didn't get my first one till November, and I really had to tweak my value proposition. I think I really just started with, hey, I graduated from this course and kind of left it at that. So then I had to think back, okay, I have 10 years of work experience. Although it's in a tech startup space, how can I translate that to show that these are skill sets that are unique to me and can benefit you? So I had to kind of wordsmith and play around with a ton of templates, and I finally found one that really has hit. And it talks about here are some skills that I've gotten in my past role, but here are some very specialty skills that I learned from this course. And I got really creative with my resume. At first, it was just like black and white, boring, no design. I was like, okay, we gotta get a little creative with this. I put a photo of myself, showed a little bit more of my personality. And second is following up. I would say no one responds to their first email like ever.
Really?
The Yeah, like the first email, because especially when the first time the job gets posted, they're probably getting flooded with emails. You may just peep it, might look at it later, or they might be getting overwhelmed. And I find that as when I follow up second or even the third time, that's when I'll get a response. And my kind of saying is like, get me on a call and get me on an interview with you, and I'll show you that, I should be someone that you should hire. So once you get that interview down and scheduled, I think it's pretty smooth and sailing there. But it really is your initial email follow-up and resume that's going to be super key to making sure you stand out.
Yeah, and that's such good information, especially because we do like, let people know that in the course. And, we've had a couple people write in and be like, "Hey, I don't know what I'm doing wrong." And we're like, "Hey, send us over your items." And they're like, the email is like the worst subject line I've ever seen. I'm like, why would literally anyone open that? Like, you have to put yourself in the shoes of someone that's going to be reading this and like looking to hire you. You know what I mean? Like, what
Yeah,
value are you bringing to them and how are you making their life easier? Um,
totally.
I am curious on post, when you secure the interview and you're in the interview, how do you kind of approach it and how do you kind of, again, like, secure the position in that interview?
So usually they'll have like a few questions on my experience. So in the beginning, I really had to lean on my experience of past jobs and what I learned in the course. Now that I have a few influencers under my belt, I could really lean on that. But I also asked them like, what do you think is missing? But also, what are you doing right now? And I kind of already consult them in that first interview.
Yeah.
So they'll tell me, okay, this is, my current workflow. This is what I'm looking for in my assistant, etc. And they'll start to piece things together. And I'll be like, oh, here's an idea. What if you do XYZ? And then that's when they say, oh, I actually haven't thought of that. That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
And so just kind of providing value from the very beginning. And like I said, I'm not only, for the most part, actually, going for influencers that have content that I'm interested in. So I like to put in a detail of actually why I want to work with them. For example, one of the girls I work with, she is an outdoor girl and she lives in her van full time, something that I would love to do and dream of. And I told her, hey, I rented out a van a couple times last summer. You're living my dream. Let me live vicariously through you and help you make content. So you really got to make it personal as well. And again, just saying the why. And at the end of the day, they want to work with someone not just to complete the work, but someone they actually enjoy working with and enjoys their content. So I think those are really key points to drive in that initial interview.
I love that. That's such sound advice. I think that that's like one of the most important parts to like hone in on and actually spend some time like refining the resume, refining the cover letter, the outreach, because once you have the job, you have the job and you can just put your skill set to use. So again, I really do love all of that. What does like a day in your life look like? And I know that you mentioned that you like travel as well and that you're interested in van life. So like I guess what does a day in your life look like now? And then what does an ideal day in your life look like?
Yeah. I mean, you gotta start with a walk and coffee. I have to
Love.
because working from home, and this is something I like lean to a lot, is I would put my sweats on, this hoodie on, and then just go straight to it. But I
Mhm.
really just gotta like reset and just go for a walk, get my caffeine in, get some sun in. and really just start to think in my head. I'm like, okay, what do I want to accomplish today? Like overall theme. I actually have this weekly planner that I use, and it kind of like writes down like what's your word of the week or your intention for the week. And for this week, it's transition because I'm transitioning to one, just a new place that I'm living at, and also just transitioning to a new career. But once that's good, I'll go ahead and sit at my laptop and I'll look at kind of my to-do list. So, like, what are the ultimate things that have to get done today? No exceptions. So, might be getting a contract signed, submitting campaigns or content, those sort of deadlines. And I make sure those are set. And then I kind of have my what I call a B list. So that's kind of like my A list. And then I have my B list of like, okay, great. Once you get those done, this would be nice to get done today. C list is like, definitely doesn't need to get done today. Would be nice if you could. But essentially, the next day, anything that was in B gets shifted to A, anything that was in C gets shifted to B, etc.
Ooh, what a
Um,
system. Do we
I
need to put this in
know.
the course? I kind of love it.
Possibly, possibly. Yeah, I call it the ABC to-do list. And I usually prep everything on a Sunday, just kind of like writing down my ideas on just like what I want to do. And I think that's also another thing, a day in the life, when it comes down to like sitting down and getting creative, that part is a little harder to time block. Like it's really hard if you're like, okay, at 1 p.m., I'm going to create some content, but the creative juices just isn't flowing. So that's something is just that just kind of flows throughout the week. If I have an idea, I just need to jot it down in Notion or I need to pin it on Pinterest or whatever it is. And then that creative time block I have, I'll go back and see, okay, what did I jot down? What were my ideas? And then kind of go through it. So yeah, just getting through a to-do list throughout the day, living vicariously or very much strict on my calendar and my to-do list. And then every 2, 3 hours, I gotta go for a walk. I can
Yeah.
only stare at the screen so long.
Oh, yeah.
So hop outside, go for a walk, and we'll get back to it. And yeah, I pretty much have a pretty set schedule, except I'm going to be doing a ton of traveling pretty much the rest of the summer, which is the nice
Mm.
part of having this job. So going to Toronto next week and then going to be in Europe for 2 weeks after that and some fun other trips. Then it's just going to be a matter of again with that time blocking of like, okay, here's my flight. When I land, put a couple hours in here. So the 9 to 5 might be looking different, but still being very organized of, okay, even though I'm traveling, here's how I'm going to organize my time.
I love that. And so you're going to be working like completely normal hours while you're traveling?
Yeah, and that's kind of the nice thing too of working with influencers where you're 9 to 5, you got to be on 9 to 5 because you
Mhm.
have your teammates reaching out. They need X, Y, and Z. You have meetings scheduled during these times. And so what I'm actually doing for these next 2 weeks is one, just batch creating content for my influencers so that that's something that they do not have to worry about. Going ham on outreach and just making sure I get as many emails out as possible as I typically would in the month. And I'll still be working throughout those 2 weeks, but it may not be as heavy as it was before or in the times. And
Mhm.
that's kind of the nice thing is like the influencer pretty are hands off once they know, okay, here's what I need done and I see how you're doing it and this is how you're going to submit your deliverables. The time that you need to submit deliverables can be outside that typical 9 to 5. And so everything is done either through we do Trello or Notion. And if I complete it at a time where I'm going to be in Lisbon and it might be like 5 a.m. during that time, that's okay. I'll submit everything through kind of our asynchronous document that we have. They'll look at it, they'll give me feedback, and we'll kind of just go back and forth from there. So that's kind of the nice thing about this job as well, is that it's very flexible in the terms you don't need to stay between this like 9 to 5 role.
Yeah. I had Michaela texting me the other night at like, well, it was 7 o'clock our time, 10 p.m. her time. And I was like, Michaela, I was like, you need to relax and go to bed. And she's like, well, I started this new internship. So like now these are the times that I'm working. And, it kind of, works out for her. And of course, it's not ideal to be working at 10 p.m., but I do love how flexible it is and that, you can really work at any time. And even when Anna was our assistant, I never knew where that girl was in the world. She was either in Mexico City or in Greece or in Guatemala. Like I literally never knew where she was, but like things were just getting done. So like I didn't care and aside from like her safety. I was like, maybe I do need to know where you are, but now we have each other's locations and check on each other like Sims. So it's really fun. But I absolutely love that. And I think that's, again, such a nice perk of the job. Um, what do you feel like has been the biggest challenge transitioning into becoming a full-time influencer's assistant?
Yeah, I think I'm essentially my own accountability partner, right? Like,
Mhm.
so although I'm assisting influencers, my team per se is just myself. So I really need to ensure that I'm meeting these deadlines. And of course, the influencers, which by the way, they're all super sweet and nice. So they're not kind of like, get this done
Yeah,
now. But I do need to make sure I'm submitting quality work in a timely manner. So I really need to make sure that I'm sticking to my timetables and I'm meeting these deadlines, and staying accountable. And, working from home, couch is right there, bed's right there. Um,
100%.
but I will say it hasn't really been an issue because I genuinely enjoy what I'm doing. So time goes by super fast. But yeah, I think that probably is the biggest challenge is making sure that I'm staying on top of my to-dos and due dates and really just keeping myself accountable and staying on top of the work.
I love that. And have you had a highlight from becoming an influencer's assistant?
Oh my gosh. There's a lot actually. Because again, I genuinely love the people I work with. Me and one of my influencers, we're on a FaceTime, voice notes, cadence, and about
Mhm.
anything really too. And so she's really become like a friend too, which I really love.
Mm.
Oh my gosh. I think for one of my influencers, they're definitely more kind of like content creation needed heavy. And this is when I was in the beginning stages of not feeling super confident in my video editing skills. So I remember the first week I was working with them, or probably the second, they had to ask of kind of the type of content they were looking for. And I remember I was so nervous that first week trying to put this video together, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what they're gonna think. And I submitted it and they absolutely loved it and like gave me so much praise, so much appreciation, and really validated like this is exactly what we're looking for. You did amazing. This is something that we would have never thought of putting together. And that was a huge highlight for me, especially jumping into this new career. That's where some skills and tasks are super new. That was just really nice and kind of just my moment of like, okay, I'm on the right path.
Mhm.
I think I'm on the right path. I know what I'm doing. I need to be confident in my skills and what I'm doing. So yeah, that was really a really good feeling.
I love that. It gave me like baby goosebumps because that validation truly is so, so, so important, especially when you're not confident in like what you've done and like finding out that you've like hit the nail on the head is like just a next level feeling. So I
Yeah,
do love that for you.
agreed.
This has been such an amazing episode. I've loved getting to know more about you and everything that you have going on. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with the SOAM pod?
Yeah, let me think. If you're not a student already, go sign up. 'Cause yeah, it totally changed my life. I think being in a very secure tech job, good pay, good benefits, remote, I think I was kind of scared to just make that jump into a career change. And I just had this feeling, I was like, I think this is something that I need to do. And I'm glad I trusted my gut and I did it. Quitting was also really scary. I've never quit a job, really. So but I feel so, so good and I feel like I'm on the right path. So even if you're thinking of doing the course, especially because it's so niche, I mean, I don't really see anyone else giving courses for influencer assisting. Just do it.
Just do
So
it.
that's my last little tip.
I love that. Honestly, couldn't have ended on a better note. It genuinely like it does like stories like yours impact us so much and it genuinely like your life being changed changes our life and like it's an honor to have like kind of helped lead that way for you. You know what I mean? Like it's really important to us. It's very special to us, and we don't take that role lightly at all. So it means a lot to us. So thank you for trusting us.
Thank you guys for making the course
Of
and
course.
changing my entire job career.
Anytime. If you guys like this episode, please take a screenshot, share it with your listeners, tag us, tag Joecel, and let her know how much you loved her episode. This is her first pod, so give her some love, give her her flowers, and we will see you guys next week.